we make an announcement in like an hour or so, letting you know that it is open, it's available, so you can purchase the collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring on Tiffany, move you to the webinar, the main stage. You all may know her on social media. Someone says, take all of my money. You all may know Tiffany on social media. She is a very popular Instagrammer. She also has a YouTube channel where she shows us these delicious Jamaican Ital recipes from her culture. She does juices, she does recipes, and I've always been drawn to the food that she posts. It looks so yummy and so amazing. So I had to invite this beautiful young sister to the conference to give us a little sneak peek at some of these recipes, to dive into Jamaican herbs and recipes from her culture. So that is her session title. It is Jamaican Ital Food and Herbal Recipes with Ital Eats and Treats Tiffany, with Tiffany Banner. Go ahead and welcome Tiffany to the stage. Hello, Tiffany.
Hello, everybody. Oh, okay. Hello, Tiffany Ferguson. I love all my Tiffany's. Um, Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited to represent my culture and represent my country. I love Jamaica. I love our cuisines. I love everything that we have to offer. We come from a very, very small island. Less than 3 million people live on the island, but we have such an influential culture and food, and we have some pretty insane herbs on the island. We have a saying in Jamaica that goes, "We're little, but we're talawa," which basically means even though we're small, we're still mighty. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit about the herbs that we have in Jamaica, as well as the Ital diet. So I want to go a little bit into um, my platform. So I started off on like YouTube, and then I branched over to Instagram. Um, and so I have my recipes on Instagram, YouTube, and of course my website. And so what it is, the name Ital literally comes from the word vital. Like, you know, you have your vital organs and everything. Those are your most important organs. So that's where the name of the diet comes from, vital, Ital. And so a lot of Rasta people in Jamaica, not just Jamaica, but Barbados, the Bahamas, a whole heap of different islands and stuff will consume this diet. I remember I was also in St. Lucia, and there were a lot of other Rastas there as well that were consuming that diet. So it is obviously a Jamaican thing, but it's also a Caribbean thing. So that's what I like to do for my platform. I like to really bring power to a lot of the other islands as well. So going more into the ITAL diet, ITAL is similar to vegan, but the principle is a bit different. There's a lot of sayings in the ITAL diet. A saying goes like, let your food be your medicine and let your medicine be your food. And just the way that people that are on the ITAL diet view food is very a bit different from how vegans view food. For example, veganism is more towards for animal cruelty, especially in Western countries like in the US, Canada, lots of other European countries as well. But the ITAL diet is more of focusing on you viewing your body as a temple and you making sure that you put in holy and righteous foods into your temple. Yeah, commercial veganism is a lot of processed foods. So that's why I prefer to get, use the name ITAL. I use vegan because not a lot of people who are not familiar with Caribbean culture will know the term ITAL, but it's still all love regardless. So yes, that's a little bit about the background of the name of my platform. I wanted to name it that so I could give reverence to all the Rastas who are the ones that started this diet. And it's like an Afrocentric diet as well. So a lot of Rastas will basically eat what they grow and grow what they eat. That's how the saying goes. And if we're talking about some different like Ital restaurants in Jamaica, one of my favorite ones is in Ocho Rios and it's called Calabash. For example, they'll have a calabash bowl to serve your food because it is of a higher vibration as opposed to like putting it on like I don't know plastic or a plate or styrofoam or something. And a lot of times they'll even have like a coconut carved spoon and everything. Rastas are all about like just viewing everything in the highest vibration and everything. So yeah. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be like looking at the comments while I don't know, sorry.
You
But
don't
yeah.
have to. Yeah, they're gonna put their questions for you in the Q&A box, and if you have time, after your session, we'll go through the questions in the Q&A box. So you don't have to chat is for them, so you're fine.
Okay, perfect. Somebody asked Instagram name. My Instagram name is Ital Eats and Treats. That's everything. That is my website where you can go and get printable recipes. That is my Instagram. That is the TikTok. That is the YouTube. It's everything. So today I want to talk about a couple of herbs that you can not only find in Jamaica, but you can also find in the rest of the Caribbean islands. I'm going to be using the Jamaican names for them, but if you do have other Caribbean people here, I think I saw somebody say that they are from Barbados. The names in those other islands are going to be different than the names that we have in Jamaica. So I'm just going to be giving the names that we use in Jamaica. Like, for example, we have something in Jamaica called ackee. Ackee is our national fruit, but however, in Barbados, ackee is something completely different. So I'm just going to be using the Jamaican names today. So, one that I really, really want to talk about is cerasee. So, if you are not from the Caribbean, cerasee is an herb that tastes horrible. It has traumatized a lot of Caribbean children, but it is so, so amazing for you. It detoxes your body and it really just sets you up for success. Like literally, cerasee is one of the best things that you can drink. Yeah, somebody said it is the bitter melon leaf. Cerasee is actually a fruit as well. Well, the bitter melon is the fruit, and then the cerasee are the leaves from the bitter melon. I was going to do a juice with bitter melon today, but I have dandelion and I have callaloo and everything that I'm going to put into the juice. So I figured putting bitter melon in that as well would be a bit too much. So I'm going to show you all those in just a second. Yeah, so yes, cerasee is an amazing, amazing herb. It's called, like I mentioned before, it is referred to different names in Haiti or Haiti as their indigenous name. It is referred to as a different name in St. Lucia and other places. But cerasee is amazing. And honestly, I have a saying that goes, the bitter, the better. I feel like when things are really, really bitter, I'm excluding alcohol. They're really doing its job to be detoxing your body. Oh, perfect. Somebody from Haiti said, a soros. I'm sorry, I don't speak Creole or French, so I'm going to try a sorosi in Haiti. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. But yes, cerasee is one of the best things that you can drink for constipation, for a full body detox. The reason why so many Caribbean parents will force their children to drink this is to just really help you get ready. A lot of times they'll make you drink it like before school to protect your immunity from other germs that might be there, like pitney who don't cover their nose when they sneeze and everything or when they cough. So cerasee is such an amazing immunity booster and everything. It's like obviously it's not as popular in North America, but you can find it. My dad actually does grow it in New York, so it's possible, especially if you live in a place like New York. There's probably more Jamaican people in New York than on the island. It's very possible to be able to find these things as long as you're willing to go outside of your comfort zone and go to like a Caribbean market or to a Hispanic market or to an African market. These things are 100% able to find. Someone said, "Yeah, I'm about to go to Flatbush." Yep, if that you could definitely find some there. So another one I want to talk about today is callaloo. I know somebody had mentioned in the comment section earlier about callaloo. Callaloo is incredible. And in Jamaica, what we usually do with callaloo is if you see these stems right here, we call it stripping. We strip the stems. If you can see, there's like a little stringy part. If you don't strip it when you are cooking, you're gonna have stuff like in your teeth and stuff. So that's why we strip it. But usually people will strip the stems and then chop up the callaloo really, really fine, really small, and serve it with some green banana, some boiled dumpling, have it like as a very powerful, mighty breakfast. But what people don't realize is that callaloo can also be eaten raw. And I want to share a story. So my mom, when she first came to the US and she had my older sister, she was unfortunately suffering with anemia. So she was very low on iron. So her doctor was telling her, yeah, you need to do something about that. I don't know what you're going to do about it, but if you don't figure it out soon, we're going to have to, I don't know, maybe put you on some iron pills or something. But like the Jamaican she is, she resorted to callaloo. A lot of people do not realize that callaloo is extremely, extremely high in iron. So what she would do, well, actually what my dad would do for her every day is blend up some callaloo with a little bit of water, and she would drink that every single day. And then she was able to solve her iron problem. So callaloo is 100% okay to eat raw. And we're going to be using that to make a juice today. So this I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I was able to find at a grocery store called Nam de Moon. If you are in New York, I'm not even going to tell you where to find New York. You should be able to find some fresh callaloo if you're in New York City, that is, not upstate. But if you're living in Atlanta, you should be able to go to Nam de Moon for some callaloo. We have dandelion greens. Dandelion greens are a lot more popular in North America and the US. So if you're not able to find callaloo, you will definitely be able to find some dandelion greens. Here in Georgia, you have grocery stores like Publix, Kroger, Whole Foods. You can find dandelion easily at any one of those. And a lot of people, when I was discussing something with my friend yesterday, because she's a gardener, she was basically saying that a lot of people have become very disconnected from food and that we don't know the true source of a lot of our food. So somebody said, hey, from Atlanta, hey. A lot of times when I share a dandelion green juice on my story, people will say, how did you make juice with dandelion? Because what they're thinking of is they're thinking of the roots. But dandelion is not only coming from the roots, there's a whole plant in it. And actually, dandelion is what you have as a weed in your yard and what people, use to they spray pesticides on it. But I don't know. I like to say that maybe there's a reason why it grows so abundantly, because this is one of the best, most amazing things that you can put into your body. This is also extremely high in iron. A weed is a plant growing in the wrong area. Well, yeah, it's still a weed. A dandelion is definitely a weed. I would not suggest to go to your yard and pick dandelion out of the yard. I would not suggest that. Unless you are growing it from the seed, I would not suggest that. But I would suggest going to dandelion to go grab some from the market, any market, any grocery store. But yeah, so this is extremely high in iron. It's really, really amazing for constipation. So I always love to recommend this to people who are feeling like constipated or anything. Like, I always like to say your problem will definitely be sorted out in maybe 30 minutes or so. It always really, really helps to clear my system and get everything going and everything moving. And dandelion is another great alternative to callaloo when it comes to iron and everything, if you're not able to find callaloo where it is that you live. And I have some other, oh yes. So I have something right here. This is called chayote. However, in Jamaica, we call it chocho. Now, I had a video go absolutely viral, and I was like, wow, people are really interested in this vegetable. It wasn't until I realized that people from Spanish speaking countries call chocho something completely different. So, like I said, I'm using the Jamaican name. Okay. People, I'm using the Jamaican names for everything today. In Jamaica, we call this chocho. I'm not referring to anything else. That is all I'm going to say. Yes, somebody said we call it Christophine in Barbados. Okay. Um, Whatever you call it, whether you call it chayote, whether you call it Christophine, whether you call it chocho, this is an alkaline squash. It is on the Dr. Sabi list. It's absolutely amazing for you. And what a lot of people, I think another reason why that video went viral is because a lot of people did not realize that you can actually eat this raw. You can actually eat this raw. And usually I like to peel the skin because it is quite fibrous, but I have a very good cold pressed juicer, so I'm not gonna like peel it today. I'm just gonna throw everything in there. But this is really amazing for you. I like to kind of like use this and use it in salads and everything, but sometimes I also do throw it in my juice. The taste of it is kind of like a raw green apple, and we're going to be using this in our juice today. It's extremely, extremely electric, and that is another part of the Ital diet that Rasta people really, really focus on. They focus on making their foods electric. So lots of times Rastas will also eat like raw foods. A lot of Rastas will be juicing, and so that is all the things that come into an Ital life and an Ital diet. I see people saying it's called Merliton in New Orleans. I don't really know if I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. Um, this is a zucchini. I did not have any cucumber for today, but we're gonna pretend I'm using a cucumber. Cucumber is absolutely amazing. There was a video that went viral. I think his name is Maccabee. He made a song like cucumber. I don't know if you all know that song. My mom and I love it. It's super catchy. And basically, cucumber is such an amazing fruit. It's a fruit because it has seeds in it, and it's super hydrating. It's got electrolytes, amazing for you. I like to have cucumber, chop it up, put it in a salad. I actually like to make a salad with chocho and cucumber as well. Um, so yes, you can juice cucumber, you can eat it, you can put it in a salad, you can, I don't know, sprinkle some salt on it and just eat it as is. Cucumber is an amazing thing to put into your diet. Now I have some, what's the difference between cucumber and English cucumber? Um, Honestly, English cucumbers are just a lot like, English cucumbers are a lot longer and I think skinnier, whereas the regular cucumbers are a bit like smaller. So these are key limes, but honestly, these are just like what regular limes look like in Jamaica. But these are key limes. I really, really love these because they add such a huge burst of flavor to any juice. And they come in, they're so tiny, but they have so much flavor. And so a lot of times I will prefer key lime over a lemon. It's just my personal preference. Lemon is also amazing, but key lime is what I really love to do. I also love to have watermelon juice and put some key lime in there. That's actually how I broke my fast today. I just got out my juicer and juice up some watermelon with the rind with 2 key limes. And then ginger. So I'm pretty sure you all can look at the grocery stores and look at the really, really big ginger. In Jamaica, we'd say big and odious, the humongous ginger pieces. And I don't know if you all noticed, but those ginger pieces are usually like not as strong, whereas these really small ginger, sometimes they can be a bit more expensive, but these you only need like a little tip to really bring out the flavor in your juices and in your food as well. So I always love to go for like the smaller pieces of ginger. And when I say smaller, I mean the arms are smaller. Obviously, this was broken off, but I just wanted to point that out about ginger. Um, so I prefer the smaller ginger. And the last thing I have is a green apple. This juice is going to be more of a shot. Um, and not the shots you guys are thinking. It's just a small shot that you take at once instead of drinking the whole thing because it is going to be bitter. But like I said, the bitter, the better. Um, so I'm using a green apple. You can use any type of apple that you prefer, but green apple is a bit less low in sugar than regular apples, and I really just like the taste and the crisp that green apples provide. So how much time do I have left? I think I'm ending at 1:30. Okay, so the plan was to go ahead and make a juice, but I don't know if I'll have time because basically I would just be juicing up the fruit and vegetables and then showing you all, but I feel like you all can get the gist of how that would work. So let me talk about something else.
Please, I think you'll have time to do the juice, so I welcome you to go ahead and juice in
Yeah.
it. Do you
Okay,
think
perfect.
that works?
Before I
I
do think,
think
sorry, what were you saying? Sorry, it's
I was
cut.
I think they want to see the juices. Do y'all want to see her make a juice in the chat? Drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Okay, cool. Just one more minute. I wanted to show you all really quickly another thing that I have. So, if you're from like the Caribbean, if you're from Latin America, if you're from Southeast Asia, you know exactly what this is. This is a soursop. Soursop is extremely alkaline. It's a part of the Dr. Sabulis. Yes, somebody said guanabana. In Latin America, they will call it guanabana, but in Jamaica, we call it soursop. This is extremely, extremely delicious. It's extremely good for you. It's alkaline. It is anti-cancer. So yesterday I went ahead and made myself a humongous, humongous juice. Some Jamaican people will put like condensed milk in it, but I just sweetened it with some key lime and that was it. So this is another thing that if you can get your hands on it, it's a lot harder to find in the United States. Somebody actually sent this to me, but if you are able to get your hands on it, or if you're able to go to the Caribbean or Southeast Asia, I would 100% recommend getting it because it's anti-cancer and it's awesome. Okay, now I will go ahead and make this juice. Oh yes, somebody said that you drink the tea. Honestly, every part of the soursop is great. You have leaves that you can use to make tea. It's amazing. Okay, so I want to tell you all about my juicer. I personally use, if you follow me on Instagram, you see me talking about this juicer a lot. I use a cold press juicer. I used to use like one of those high-speed juicers a while ago, but I don't use them anymore. Now I use a cold press juicer because it helps to retain your nutrients that are in your juices, and it's so much better for your juices. It makes your juices last a lot longer, and I just honestly really, really love a cold press juicer. I have like a little strainer on top of that. So it's quiet, but it might pick up really loudly on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put the leaves in first. Well, actually, I'll put the dandelion leaves in first. And then I'll put in some of the callaloo. And then I'm gonna mug a brook top, put that in there, and put in this apple, put in 2 key limes, put in a piece of ginger, and I'm gonna go ahead, oh, actually, yeah, I will put in the zucchini. Remember, I would have preferred a cucumber, but this is to just have a bit higher water content. Put that in there. And I don't know if you all can hear me. Like I said, it might pick up on the sound a bit. What I really love about cold press juicer, or at least this one, is that you can walk away and it's literally juicing it without me having to be there. So I really love that. Somebody said they bought a Nama. Yes, Nama is also an amazing brand as well. Yeah, so right now the juice is making juice, and this is gonna be more of a shot because it's gonna be very bitter, and it's not gonna necessarily be something that you're drinking for pleasure. If you want, I hope you all can hear me, by the way. If you want to consume a juice that is more sweet, I would say go for callaloo, or you could even do kale, but I prefer the health benefits in callaloo. cucumber, put more apples. You can even put pineapple if you want. I know some people don't really like pineapple because for me, pineapple kind of mashes up my stomach because it's super acidic. But yeah, so you can use apples, you can use oranges, you can use less greens and everything. So I'll show you all here. You can see now I can open it. It's making juice. I can go ahead and throw in the rest of my ingredients in here. The rest of the callaloo, the rest of the zucchini, and I'm actually gonna chop up the chocho, aka chayote, aka Christophine, and put that in there because it has a very fiber. I don't know if I would use the word fibrous. It has a very tough inside, so I don't necessarily want that to go in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. Around the tough parts. I also use a very big knife. Chop that up, throw that in there. And while this is juicing, I can go ahead and prepare the mason jar. I will store it in. Somebody said starchy. Starchy is a good word. And this is what I'm going to be using to pour my shots into. So I'll go ahead and put away these. And of course, if you are not on the budget of a cold press juicer, you can always blend it. You can, there's so many, in Jamaica, they use like a Vitamix blender for everything. So you can blend it, you can do what you do. My Jamaican grandmother always said, make do with what you have. Make do with what you have. Or if you're interested to upgrading to something else, you can always get a cold press juicer. It's just, I always say take things one step at a time. Somebody said, how are you enjoying your hoovings? I personally love it. I have had this for the past, what, year? 2 years, I think. I use it to make nut milks. I use it to make sorbets. I use it to make juices. I literally use it every day. I use it to make so many different things and I absolutely love it. Somebody said low key can blend and strain to make do with what you have. Exactly. You can blend and strain. Make do with what you have was my grandmother's slogan, and it's also my slogan. Somebody said, do you use the pulp? So if you have a dehydrator, what you can do with the pulp is you can dehydrate it. Boom, you have instant greens powder, or you can throw your pulp into a smoothie. You can throw your pulp into a smoothie. There are so many things that you can do with the pulp. I have also one time used green juice pulp and put it into veggie burgers. There are so many things you can do it with it. Depending on what you put in your green juice, you can also use it to make green seasoning. Let me turn this off. Green seasoning is some seasoning that's very popular in different Caribbean islands. I know in Puerto Rico and in the Dominican Republic, they call it sofritos, but in Jamaica, we call it green seasoning. So you could possibly put your pulp into some green seasoning. There's so many different things that you can do with, your pulp and with your juices. So now I'm going to go ahead and strain this because I think they're going to start the Q&A session. And I'm just straining this again with the strainer that's here because I like my juices super silky. And then here's that pulp. It's pretty fibrous because of the callaloo and everything. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and save this and put it in my smoothies. And I'm going to pour some of the green juice into here for a shot. You're probably going to see me cringe because this is not going to taste good, but it's for health. So it depends on what type of juice you make. Every juice is different, but this juice is going to be very, very, very strong. So I'm going to take it as a shot. It's actually not that bad, but I have a very high tolerance to bitter things because I consume so many herbs But if you would like to get something that would help with constipation, that would help with immunity, that would help with everything, this is definitely a juice to try. Oh, yes, somebody mentioned crackers. 100%. You can put the pulp and combine it with some flour and turn it into a cracker. So it is 1:17. I
Yes,
think it's
we
in.
have time for some Q&A. How did you all like that demonstration for some very powerful poem? A little bitter, but bitter is better. The bitter, the better. Okay, some juice for you to incorporate in your wellness. We got some Caribbean herbs, some Jamaican herbs. We got some great benefits for actual juices. Yes, so inspiring. I try to juice. I am growing some veggies and I'm trying to juice so they won't go bad. So thank you so much for showing us a demonstration. I'm just gonna go hop directly to the chat since we ended early and we can answer some of these questions, Tiffany. Can you drop the name of your juicer again? We did just drop your links. Again, the chat goes fast. We're gonna drop it a couple more times. The juicer,
Yeah.
I believe, there are links to the juicer on your links.
Yeah. So the on my links here, let me copy and paste it. If you
Yeah.
use my link, you can get 10% off the juicer. So I just put it in there. The juicer is called a Kuvings, Kuvings, Auto, Auto 10, 10. So that's the juicer that I use, or that I use today for the demonstration.
Yes, we also put that in the chat there in her links. We're gonna drop it several more times on there. A lot of people are asking about the brand of juicer. Um, do you know personally, Tiffany, if Cereseed does interact with people who have autoimmune disorders?
I'm not too personally educated on different autoimmune disorders, but I do know that there are certain herbs that you should not be taking if you're like pregnant or if you are taking other medications prescribed by pharmacies. So I would definitely say for people, definitely research different herbs that you decide to drink or take. But the herbs that I use today are definitely safe. They're like products that you can eat, they're products that you can cook. And yeah.
Um, Thank you. And then Kalaloo, can you talk more about, I know different cultures have their own version of Kalaloo. So Kalaloo in one culture may not be the Kalaloo in another culture, or another island. So Kalaloo, I actually got Kalaloo and I'm like, oh, it's amaranth greens. So over here, in the US, we know it as amaranth. So can you talk to the different varieties of Kalaloo as well as some medicinal benefits of it?
Yeah, so I think the callaloo that grows in North America is a bit different than the one that grows in the Caribbean because it's a completely different climate and everything. So I was familiar with the term amaranth in terms of callaloo. I think it's somewhat similar, but it's a bit different. But yeah, like I said, callaloo has a lot of iron. It is a green that is very good for your immunity. It's great to put into smoothies, and some people will put spinach or kale into smoothies. You can just easily put like a handful of callaloo into your smoothies as well. And yeah, like I said, we like to really eat it with boiled green banana and with boiled dumpling. I use spelt flour for my boiled dumplings instead of white flour because it has more protein, and that spelt is like more of an alkaline electric type flour. So yeah, there are a couple of different ways that you can use callaloo, but the more predominant way that you use callaloo, at least in Jamaica, is to cook it. But the reason why I wanted to show people today is to show people that you can use it raw. You can use it in a salad. You can make a callaloo salad instead of a spinach salad. You can use it for juices, smoothies, so many different things that you can do with callaloo.
Yeah, different people are saying from their culture, their callaloo in Grenada can't be eaten raw. Callaloo in Jamaica is different. And here I know callaloo as amaranth. I actually went out and bought some callaloo seeds and I looked at it and it grew. I'm like, this is like the wild amaranth. If you all are familiar with medicinal wild edibles, another thought in the plant in your chat, we mentioned weeds. So in the chat, we also talked about the word weeds and how that is a colonized word. We do want to decolonize our thinking. Weeds are just medicinal wild edibles. Most weeds in your yard probably aren't medicinal. Weeds are, people think that weeds, because they grow so much, we are thought here in America is to get rid of them, to put chemicals on them. But I promise you, the majority of your weeds in your yard is actually medicinal. So I said that to say there is an amaranth variety that is labeled as a weed. It is a nuisance, I'm gonna tell you that. But I realized that it was amaranth. It was a wild version of amaranth. And I grew my callaloo, and it looked just like the wild edible, the wild amaranth that was growing, and people told me we're weeds. And I'm just like, it's the same plant. That's so crazy. And I did end up going and harvesting some of the wild amaranth and making salad out of it. So next, can you mention if someone wanted to start out juicing for health, how often do you think, do you have any recommendations of how often should they juice? Do they just, do a few juices a day? Do you do juicing as far as you just have times where you do juice detoxes? What's your guide on that, your view on that?
Yeah, so let me use my mom as an example. And also I see someone's name is Marcia. That's my mom's name, so that's funny. So whenever I juice for my mom, I kind of like try my best not to give her like really intense juices because they'll definitely it's a good thing if she works from home because they're going to make you really clear out your system. So I would say if you're starting off with juicing, you could start off with like 3 juices per week, or maybe even once per week. Like I said, make do with what you have. If you can only afford to juice once a week, that is totally okay and totally fine as long as you're taking the step to better yourself. But I personally like to drink maybe less than 16 ounces per day. I started off my day today with quite a bit of watermelon juice because I have to refill my water at Whole Foods. But I drank some watermelon juice with some key lime. But I usually like to start off my day with some green juice. So now I have this. And so there's different ways that you can do it. But like I said, starting off maybe like 3 times per week, even twice per week. But I personally like to drink a juice once a day.
Awesome. The next question is, again, we love your videos on Instagram. Could you give some suggestions of some eat out breakfast ideas? Like maybe like your top 2 favorite go-to eat out breakfast ideas.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I love porridge. Some Rastas might call it rich because Rasta people are very conscious of the words that they use. That's why a lot of Rastas won't say God because God is like dog backwards. So they'll say Ja instead. So whether you call it porridge or whether you call it rich porridge, I'm hoping everyone here is familiar with porridge. Porridge is like, I guess, kind of like the thing that they have in Goldilocks. There's so many different things you can use to make porridge. You can use cornmeal. Cornmeal is personally my favorite type of porridge. You can use green banana. I love green banana porridge. You can use plantain porridge. You can use oats porridge. Oats porridge is my absolute favorite porridge growing up as a child. It was absolutely amazing. There's so many different types of porridge. Oh, there's also bulgur porridge. There's so many different things, ways that you can do porridge. So I love to start off my day with porridge. Porridge is a great thing. If you want to learn more about porridge, I do like history lessons on my website behind each recipe. So you can go ahead and go on italeatsandtreats.com to search up any type of porridge that you're interested in. And so porridge is another great thing that I love to have. Another breakfast recipe. I honestly love to break my fast with fruit, and then maybe like 30 minutes to an hour later, that's when I'll consume more starchier foods, harder foods. So a nice big bowl of fruit is great. But another hearty breakfast that has protein is probably like some like ackee and boiled green banana and boiled dumpling and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm trying to just think. I have a lot of different breakfast recipes on my website. I also love fritters. I love to make plantain fritters, banana fritters, and yeah, yeah, those are great breakfast recipes that are from the Ital diet.
And did you always juice, or how did you start this? Was it something that was part of your family, or did you get into it later in life? Like, how did you start like juicing? Did you always eat? I know juicing, and then your Ital diet. Was that just a part of how you were growing up, or did you get into juicing and Ital eating later in life?
Yeah, before I answer your question, I do want to mention something really quickly. Somebody said when you boil the green banana, it increases the iron. That's true. Boiled green banana specifically has a very high amount of iron, and I always try to encourage women specifically to consume more iron because we personally need a lot of iron. I think we need double the amount of iron compared to men. But yeah, juicing, it's funny. I actually started off I think I was 18 years old. I was working in like a vegan cafe bar, and they also had, it was actually owned by a Jamaican, so that was another reason why I like to work there. They had smoothies and juices, and so I would try the juices there, and I would say, "Oh, this is something I really want to do." Started off juicing maybe like once a week, and I went from there. I actually started off with my NutriBullet, and I had that for a couple of years until I upgraded to a the cold press juicer I have over there. So that was how I started off juicing. I definitely have to thank the place I used to work at for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiffany, so much for sharing that amazing nutritious juice recipe. Tiffany, if you haven't joined us at all during this conference, we've been asking everyone what their favorite color is so we can show you some love in the comments. Can you share your favorite color?
Definitely pink.
Yes, you all know what to do. Go ahead and show Tiffany some love in the comments. That's for you, Tiffany. All of those pink hearts is just to show you our deep gratitude for your amazing session on Ital Eats and Treats Juicing for your health. We thank you so, so, so much for coming here. I know you've been traveling the world. It's all for you, Tiffany. You see all that?
Thank you. Thank you
I
so much.
Yeah, thank you. I know you had a personally busy schedule just getting back from like a world Europe tour going all over
Yeah.
the world. So I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. You all, thank you so much, Tiffany. Hopefully I'll see you on the internet somewhere. We're gonna drop once it slows down. Oh, there we go. Admin is on it. We just dropped her links again to all of her. First of all, go if you're not following her, go follow her on social media on Instagram. But thank you again so much for coming. And yeah, we're gonna bring on the next speaker right now. Oh, my cat decided to hop on my leg. We're gonna bring on our next speaker right now. You can just go ahead and hop off, Tiffany. Hold on one second, y'all. Let's move the cat. And she wanted to make a guest appearance. Oh, yes, that's my cat Panda. She likes to hide. Whenever she hears me like talking, she feels like left out. So she tries to like hop right on the screen and whenever she hears me talking.